hospital floor was slick, but Naomi Carter didn't feel it under her worn shoes. Her hands shook as she mopped up a spill in the dim hallway of Holloway Memorial. A piercing wail cut through the air, a sound that made her chest tighten. It was her mother, Angela, crying out somewhere behind those walls, somewhere she couldn't reach without paying the impossible sum. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, and she ripped it out, nearly dropping the mop. 72 hours left. The text blinked at her stark against the screen. Her stomach dropped. 72 hours, that's all I have. She swallowed hard, trying not to let the panic show. The hospital's name loomed in her mind, Holloway Memorial. Her mother had whispered that name once in a trembling voice. Never ask about them. Never. Now it seemed every second of those forbidden words had led her to this moment. Naomi's mind raced. She had begged, pleaded, even cried before her boss, Mrs. Genevieve Blake, but it was no use. You people always want pity, Mrs. Blake had sneered that morning. Learn your place, Naomi. She had walked away, heels clicking against the marble floor as Naomi's heart broke a little more. She had nothing. No money, no leverage, just a mother fighting for her life and a hospital that wouldn't bend for her. She clenched her fists and took a shaky breath. If I have to work my way through this, I will. She had done cleaning, menial tasks, every kind of back-breaking work for years, but nothing mattered more than saving her mother. Naomi wiped at the sweat on her forehead and looked up at the hospital's front sign. The letters glinted under the streetlight, Holloway Memorial. Her pulse quickened. Somewhere deep inside, a memory she had buried surged forward, whispers of a father she had never known. Her mother's face flashed in her mind, pale and weak, and Naomi's resolve hardened. She would get her mother the help she needed, no matter what. Inside, the hospital was a maze of antiseptic smells and fluorescent lights that made her feel like the world had gone stark white. Nurses hurried past, barely sparing her a glance. She slipped into the staff room, pretending to mop, trying not to draw attention. She needed access, needed information, needed time, and she had none. Every second ticked away like a hammer pounding on her ribs. "Hey, you there," a voice called softly. Naomi froze. She turned to see a man in scrubs, tall, with a calm but sharp expression, Dr. Malik Rhodes. He was watching her, curiosity in his dark eyes. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his tone gentle but firm. "This area is restricted." I just want to see my mother," Naomi said, her voice trembling, though she tried to sound steady. "She's sick, and they said—" Her words faltered as the fear threatened to choke her. Malik stepped closer, lowering his voice. "I know, but this isn't a place for cleaning staff to wander, and you're not just any cleaner. There's something about you shouldn't be here." His words puzzled her, but she didn't have time to ask. She nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat, and continued her work, trying to keep her head down. Hours passed, each one heavier than the last. Naomi moved like a shadow, cleaning corridors, peeking into wards whenever she could. Every time she saw her mother, her heart clenched. Angela lay in a hospital bed, frail and pale, monitors beeping steadily for now. The nurse had told her, time is running out. Each beep echoed in Naomi's chest, a constant reminder of the clock she could not stop. It was late when she stumbled into the old wing, a part of the hospital she had never been allowed near. The door was unlocked, as if inviting her in. Naomi's hand trembled as she pushed it open. Inside, photographs lined the walls, black and white portraits of men and women she didn't recognize. But then she froze. There in the center was a photograph of a woman, her mother, young and radiant, pregnant, and a man whose face made her heart lurch, Charles Holloway. Naomi's breath caught. Her mother had never mentioned him. She had always said her father was gone, that he was nothing but a memory to leave alone. But here he was, staring back at her from the photograph, smiling at her mother with an intimacy that sent a shiver down Naomi's spine. Her knees nearly buckled. Could this be my father? She sank into a chair, her mind spinning. Footsteps approached, and she nearly dropped the frame she had lifted from the shelf. Malik appeared again, his expression unreadable. "I see you found him," he said softly. "Charles Holloway, your father." Naomi's eyes widened. What do you mean, my father?" Her voice was barely a whisper, trembling with disbelief. Malik nodded. "Your mother, she loved him, but the Holloways, they erased you. They wanted you gone. This hospital, this legacy, it was taken from you before you even knew it existed." Anger and grief crashed over her. "Erased me? My mother is dying because of them, isn't she? And I'm just nothing to them." Her voice cracked, tears spilling down her face. Malik reached out, resting a hand on her shoulder. No, you are more than nothing. You are her daughter, and you have every right to fight for her, but you need proof, and you need a plan. Naomi swallowed hard, wiping her tears. I don't have time for plans. I have 72 hours. I have to save her. Her fists clenched, knuckles white, determination burning through her fear. I'll do whatever it takes. I don't care who stands in my way. Malik hesitated, then nodded. Then we start now, but you have to be careful. Raymond Holloway, he will stop at nothing to keep this hidden. The mention of the name hit Naomi like a punch. Raymond Holloway, her father's brother, the man in control now. He had taken everything, her father's hospital, her heritage, and now he threatened her mother's life. Rage boiled in her chest. She straightened, lifting her chin. I don't care. He can try. He will not win. The hours passed like a storm. Naomi moved through the hospital with purpose, sneaking into restricted wings, glancing at patient charts, piecing together fragments of her mother's past. Every photograph, every file she glimpsed, drew a line connecting her to a man she had only ever heard of in whispered warnings. My father built this. My father, and they hid me. When she finally returned to her mother's room, Angela's eyes fluttered open, weak but aware. Naomi, she whispered, her voice hoarse, you shouldn't have come here. I don't care, Mama. I'm here. I'm not leaving without you. Naomi's voice cracked as she held her mother's hand, feeling the frailty of her bones. I will save you. I swear I will save you. The monitor beeped steadily, a reminder that time was slipping away. Naomi's mind raced, heart hammering. She had 72 hours. 72 hours to uncover the secrets, confront the Holloways, and save her mother from the brink of death. And nothing, no fear, no danger, no betrayal would stop her. Her phone buzzed again, another message. She glanced at it, breath-catching. Hospital security is increasing, restricted areas will be monitored. Her pulse quickened. Malik appeared beside her. They're onto us, but we can move faster. You have the evidence, you have me, and we have 72 hours. Naomi's lips pressed into a thin line, determination blazing in her eyes. Then we start now, she said, and she did not hesitate. She would fight every second, every obstacle. Her mother's life depended on it, and her father's secret legacy demanded that she claim it. If you think Naomi can save her mother, comment, yes, she can, below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to follow every heart-stopping moment of this story. Naomi and Malik moved quickly through the hospital's labyrinthine corridors, each step careful but urgent. The lights above flickered, casting shadows that seemed to whisper threats in the silence. Every door they passed was a reminder that time was running out. Angela's life depended on them, and Naomi knew she had to reach the hidden archives before the Holloways realized she was closer than ever. This way, Malik whispered, glancing over his shoulder. The archives are through here, but security cameras are active. We can't be seen. Naomi's heart pounded in her chest, but she nodded. She had no choice. She had to know what her father left behind, what evidence could save her mother and reclaim what was rightfully hers. Each step felt heavier as memories of her childhood flashed through her mind, whispered warnings from her mother, nights spent crying into an empty room, dreams of a father she never knew. Finally, they reached a heavy metal door labeled Founders Archives. Malik swiped a key card he had found in an old office years ago and slipped it through the lock. The door creaked open. Naomi's eyes widened as rows of filing cabinets and dusty shelves filled the small room. Documents, photographs, ledgers, the history of Holloway Memorial, meticulously recorded. Start looking, Malik whispered, stepping back. I'll watch the door. Naomi moved with purpose, rifling through papers, photographs, and folders. Then she froze. A photograph fell from the top of a pile, her mother, younger, radiant, pregnant, standing beside a man whose face she knew from the photo she had seen earlier, Charles Holloway, her father. Her hands shook as she picked up a sealed envelope tucked behind the frame. The handwriting on it was unmistakable. To my daughter, when the time comes. Tears blurred her vision. This can't be real, she whispered. This is me. This is my father's will. Malik stepped closer, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. It's real, Naomi. This is your proof. Your father left this for you, but we have to be careful. Raymond Holloway won't let you take it without a fight. Naomi's jaw tightened. Then let him try. Rage and desperation coursed through her veins. She clutched the envelope to her chest. Her mother's life, her father's legacy, her own identity, all were at stake. Just then the door rattled. Naomi spun around, heart in her throat. A shadow loomed in the doorway. "Looking for something, Miss Carter?" The voice was sharp, cold, filled with authority. Raymond Holloway, her father's brother. Naomi's stomach dropped, but she forced herself to stand tall. "I'm just cleaning," she said, her voice trembling but defiant. Raymond stepped inside, eyes scanning the room, landing on the envelope in her hands. His lips twisted into a sneer. "Don't play games with me. That doesn't belong to you. It never did." Malik stepped in front of her, hands raised slightly. "She's not here to cause trouble. She just wants answers." Raymond laughed, a sound that made Naomi's blood boil. "Answers? The only answer you'll get is what I decide. That envelope, that little keepsake from your dead father, it's gone now." Before Naomi could react, he reached for the envelope. She stepped back, holding it tightly. "No, you will not take this from me," her voice cracked with emotion. "I am his daughter. I am her mother's daughter. I have a right to this." Raymond's eyes darkened. "Rights? You've had no rights in this family. You never did. Stay out of Holloway Memorial or I swear." His threat hung in the air, sharp and suffocating. Naomi took a deep breath, refusing to back down. "I don't care what you say. I'm saving my mother and I'm claiming my father's legacy. You can't stop me." Malik's hand brushed hers, a silent signal to move. Naomi nodded. Together they backed out of the archives, envelope clutched tightly. They couldn't linger, every second counted. As they retraced their steps through the corridors, alarms suddenly blared. Red lights flashed. Security cameras pivoted toward them. Raymond's voice boomed over the intercom. "All staff, restricted area breach. Find them." Naomi's heart raced. "They know," she shouted over the siren. Malik grabbed her hand. "Run, don't look back." They sprinted through the hallways, dodging nurses and orderlies who had no idea what was happening. Naomi's lungs burned, her legs ached, but she didn't stop. Angela's face, pale and fragile, flashed in her mind with every step. She could not fail. They reached a stairwell and bolted down to the lower levels, sliding into a shadowy maintenance corridor. Naomi pressed herself against the wall, catching her breath. Malik checked around the corner, then whispered, "We're not safe yet. They'll be searching everywhere. We need to secure proof before it's too late." Naomi nodded, determination burning in her eyes. She carefully opened the envelope. Inside were papers, legal documents, letters from Charles Holloway, and photographs proving her lineage. Her hands trembled as she read, each word fueling her resolve. This is everything," she murmured. "Proof that my mother and I belong here, that my father never abandoned us." Malik gave her a small nod. "Now we expose them, but first, we make sure your mother is stable." Naomi's mind raced. The clock was ticking, every minute counted. Her mother's oxygen was running low, her heart monitor beeping erratically. She had no time for hesitation. She had to confront Raymond, get her mother admitted properly, and secure the hospital's legacy, all in less than 72 hours. She closed her eyes briefly, drawing in a shaky breath. "I will not fail you, Mama," she whispered. "I will fight them all, and I will save you." Malik stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "And I'll be with you every step of the way." Naomi opened her eyes, fire igniting within her. "Then let's do this," she said. "No more running, no more hiding. It's time they face the truth." And with that, they stepped back into the hospital corridors, hearts pounding, adrenaline surging, ready to confront the Holloways and fight for Angela's life, and Naomi's rightful inheritance. Do you think Naomi will survive the Holloways' trap? Comment, "She'll make it," below and hit the like button if you believe in her fight. Don't forget to subscribe to follow the next heart-stopping part. Naomi and Malik moved cautiously through the hallways, the envelope pressed tightly against her chest. Every shadow seemed to conceal someone waiting to stop her. The alarms had subsided for now, but she knew it was only a matter of minutes before Raymond's men discovered their location. Her mother's weak breaths echoed in her mind, spurring her forward. "This way," Malik whispered, leading her through a narrow corridor she had never seen before. "The boardroom. If we present the documents there, everyone will have to listen. Security cameras, journalists, the staff, there's no denying the evidence." Naomi nodded, determination burning in her chest. "Good, let's expose them all. I can't lose Mama." Her voice cracked, but she pushed the fear down. She had no choice. Angela's life depended on her courage, on her ability to fight. They reached the boardroom, and Malik gestured for Naomi to step forward. The doors were glass, and through them, she could see Raymond Holloway seated at the head of the long table, flanked by investors and administrators. He didn't notice her at first, engrossed in papers. Naomi's heart pounded as she stepped closer, the envelope clutched tightly. Raymond's head snapped up as she entered. "What the hell is she doing here?" he barked, rising to his feet. The room went silent, all eyes turning toward her. Naomi lifted her chin. "I'm here to tell the truth," she said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. "Everything you've hidden about my father, about my mother, I have proof, and you can't stop it." Raymond's face twisted with rage. "You think a maid's daughter can just walk in here and claim Holloway Memorial?" "Yes," Naomi said firmly, "I'm his daughter, I'm her daughter, and I will not let you endanger my mother's life to keep your lies." She stepped closer to the table and opened the envelope, sliding the documents and photographs across the polished surface. Everyone leaned forward, murmurs rippling through the room. Malik pulled out his phone. "I've notified a journalist outside. They're recording this live. Once the truth comes out, there's no hiding it." Raymond's hands clenched into fists. "You think you can ruin me with a few letters and photos? That envelope is meaningless." Naomi's eyes burned with fury. "Meaningless?" She lifted one of the letters, her voice trembling with emotion. "This is my father's handwriting. These are his words, his promise that I and my mother would never be denied what is ours. You can't erase us, Raymond. You can't erase him." Raymond lunged for the envelope, but Malik stepped in, holding him back. Security rushed in as the doors opened, some staff recording everything on their phones. Naomi's pulse raced. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her. This was it, the confrontation, the reckoning, the chance to save her mother and reclaim her father's legacy. Raymond's face darkened. "This isn't over," he hissed. "I will make sure of it." Naomi ignored him, her mind racing. The boardroom wasn't enough. Her mother's condition was critical. She needed to get back to Angela before it was too late. Malik grabbed her hand. "We need to move, now." They ran through the hallways, Naomi's legs pumping, her heart hammering in her chest. Every second mattered. When they reached her mother's room, a nurse was shaking her head, panic written across her face. "She's deteriorating fast. We need to act immediately." Naomi rushed to the bed, taking her mother's fragile hand in hers. Angela's eyes fluttered open, her lips parting in a whisper. "Naomi." "I'm here, Mama," Naomi said, her voice thick with tears. "I have the proof. I'm not leaving you. I'm going to save you." The monitors beeped erratically, and the oxygen levels dipped. Naomi's chest tightened as she watched the nurse and Malik prepare emergency interventions. She couldn't lose her mother now, not after everything. Raymond's men arrived, but security stopped them at the door. Malik stood firm beside Naomi, unwavering. "She's not going anywhere," he said, his voice steady. "Your uncle cannot touch her." Naomi gritted her teeth. "This ends tonight, for my mother, for my father, for us." She held Angela's hand tighter, praying, willing her mother to hold on. The nurse signaled that Angela was stabilizing, but only just. Naomi exhaled shakily, relief mingling with fear. She had moments to spare. Malik nodded at her. "It's time to secure the hospital. The documents you have, they're legal proof. Raymond can't fight this." Naomi took a deep breath. "Then we do it. We make this right. No more hiding, no more lies." Malik guided her to the administrative office, where they began uploading and copying every document, every photo, every piece of evidence proving Naomi's heritage and her mother's rightful claim. Staff gathered around, whispering in awe, some recording everything on their phones. The tide was turning. Raymond appeared at the door again, fury written across his face. Stop this, you'll regret it. Naomi didn't flinch. No, she said firmly. The only thing I regret is that it took so long to fight for what's right. You can try to stop us, but it's too late. The truth is out, and my mother will live. Her voice was steady, unwavering. The staff erupted in murmurs, some cheering quietly. Malik pressed the final copy into the hands of a journalist waiting outside. The room was filled with the quiet hum of justice in motion, and Naomi felt a small surge of hope. She returned to Angela's bedside, brushing a strand of hair from her mother's pale face. "Stay with me, Mama," she whispered. "You're going to be okay. We're reclaiming everything that's yours." Angela's eyes fluttered open again, stronger this time. "Naomi, my brave girl," she whispered. You found him for us." Naomi smiled through her tears. "I promised, Mama, I promised I wouldn't let them erase us. We are here, we are together, and I'm not letting go." Malik stood quietly by the doorway, watching them. Naomi felt his presence, steady and unwavering. Together, they had turned the tide. The battle was not fully over, but the fight for Angela's life and the Holloway legacy had taken its first major victory. Naomi's chest heaved with emotion. She had faced fear, anger, and betrayal, but now, for the first time, hope flickered. She could see it in her mother's eyes, in the cautious faces of the staff, in Malik's quiet nod. Justice was on their side. The hospital hallways felt impossibly long as Naomi rushed back to her mother's room, envelope clutched tightly in her hand. Every step carried the weight of 72 hours of fear, desperation, and determination. The monitors outside room 308 beeped erratically, and a cold sweat dripped down her forehead. Angela's life depended on her now. "Stay with me, Mama," Naomi whispered as she entered the room. Her mother lay frail, pale, tubes snaking into her arms. Naomi knelt beside her bed, gripping her mother's hand with all the strength she had left. "I have it, Mama. I have the proof. We're going to fix this, I promise." Angela's eyelids fluttered open weakly. "Naomi, my girl," her voice was barely audible, but the strength behind it gave Naomi hope. "You're your father." "He's here, Mama. I found everything," Naomi said, tears streaming down her cheeks. "The letters, the documents, I have the evidence. You'll see, we'll reclaim what's ours." Suddenly, the door swung open, and Raymond Holloway stormed in with 2 security men at his side. His face was twisted with rage. "Stop this now, Naomi. You have no right." Naomi stood, her legs trembling but her resolve unshakable. "I have every right, Raymond. You stole from us, from my father, from my mother. You lied, you threatened, but it ends tonight." Raymond sneered. "Words mean nothing. That envelope, those papers, they're worthless." Naomi held it up. "Worthless? This proves everything, my father's promise, my mother's life, and I won't let you endanger her or erase our family again." Malik stepped forward, his eyes sharp. "Security has been notified. Journalists are outside recording. Once the truth comes out, you have no control over this." Raymond's hands shook with fury. "You'll regret this. You and your mother will pay." Naomi took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage. "No, I will not be intimidated. My mother is alive because I fought, and now the world will see the truth." The security team moved Raymond and his men back, forcing him out of the room. Naomi collapsed into a chair, exhausted but relieved. Malik helped her steady herself. "You did it," he said quietly. "You exposed him. You've taken the first step to reclaiming your father's legacy." Naomi shook her head, tears spilling freely. "It's not over until Mama is safe. Every second counts." She leaned over Angela, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Hold on, Mama, just a little longer." The nurses worked quickly, stabilizing Angela's vitals. Naomi watched every movement, counting every beep, willing her mother to fight. And slowly, Angela's breathing evened. The monitor beeped steadily. Naomi's hands shook as she whispered, "You made it, you're still here." Angela's eyes fluttered open, stronger now, and she managed a faint smile. "Naomi, my brave girl," her voice carried pride and love, even in weakness. Naomi kissed her mother's hand. "I promised, Mama, I promised I wouldn't let them erase us." Malik gave a small nod of approval. "The documents are already being processed. The hospital will be transferred to your mother's name legally. Raymond Holloway is done. Naomi exhaled, relief flooding through her body. It had been 72 hours of fear, desperation, and relentless fighting, and now, finally, the storm was over. She looked around the room, at her mother, at Malik, at the nurses who had helped them. She felt a swell of gratitude and triumph. "Time to rebuild," Malik said, smiling softly. "For your mother, for your father's legacy, and for you." Naomi nodded. "Yes, we'll rebuild it stronger. For everyone who's been ignored, erased, or silenced, this hospital will be more than a legacy, it will be a place of hope." Months later, Holloway Memorial had been officially renamed the Carter Holloway Foundation, and Naomi and her mother oversaw operations. The hospital had transformed into a place of healing for the forgotten, the poor, the powerless. Staff and patients alike saw the change, a legacy reclaimed and amplified. Naomi walked through the corridors one morning, holding her mother's hand, smiling at the nurses and patients who greeted them warmly. Malik walked beside her, calm and supportive, their bond stronger than ever. Angela looked at Naomi, pride shining through her weary eyes. "Your father would be so proud," she whispered. Naomi smiled through tears. "He is proud, Mama, and now we finally honor him the way he wanted." In her office, Naomi placed a framed photograph of her parents side by side on her desk. Charles Holloway smiling beside Angela, both radiant and full of life. Naomi stared at it, her chest swelling with emotion. They had tried to erase her, to hide the truth, to silence her mother, but she had fought, clawed, and risked everything. And now she had won. Naomi looked out the window at the sun rising over the city. A new day, a new beginning. And finally, she felt the weight of fear lift from her shoulders. She had saved her mother, reclaimed her father's legacy, and carved out her own path. Nothing could take that from her now. Would you fight for your family the way Naomi did? Comment, "Yes, I would," below. Hit that like button if you believe in fighting for justice, and don't forget to subscribe to catch more stories like this. Heart-stopping, emotional, and impossible to forget.